Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel CodeMed Mastery. In this video, let's walk through some CPC exam practice questions. You will see 10 questions in this video. It will give you an idea how to solve questions in your CPC exam. So watch the video till the end. Let's begin. Read the question. The doctor has diagnosed a patient with a long history of type 2 diabetes with mild non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy with macular edema in the right eye. What ICD code would be used? Check option A, E11.3211. That is for type 2 diabetes mellitus with mild non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy with macular edema. So the seventh character here is 1, that is for right eye. So option A is exactly matching with the question. So that is the right answer. We will also check other options. Check option B, E11.311. E11.311 is for type 2 diabetes mellitus with unspecified diabetic retinopathy with macular edema. But in the scenario, they have mentioned the type of diabetic retinopathy, that is mild non-proliferative. Okay, so we cannot code for unspecified diabetic retinopathy with macular edema. So eliminate option B. In option C, the code is E11.3513. That is for type 2 diabetes mellitus with proliferative diabetic retinopathy with macular edema. The seventh character 3 is for bilateral. In the scenario, they have mentioned mild non-proliferative diabetic retinopathy and that is for right eye. So it is not matching with the code E11.3513. So eliminate option C. Coming to option D, E11.21, that is for type 2 diabetes mellitus with diabetic nephropathy. But in the scenario, they have given diabetic retinopathy, not nephropathy. So eliminate option D. Therefore, option A is the right answer. Let's move on to the next question. Read the question. You can pause the video and try to solve by yourself. A 35-year-old patient admitted a few days ago with acute appendicitis was visited by her physician. She has been recovering from surgery extremely well, so he checks her vitals, performs an incision check and has the patient get up and walk around. He then discharges her. The visit takes a total of 20 minutes. How would this be coded? Check option A, 99239. That is for hospital inpatient observation discharge day management, more than 30 minutes on the date of encounter. So this code is for hospital inpatient or observation discharge day management. That is correct. But the time is more than 30 minutes. But in the scenario, you can check the time. They have mentioned 20 minutes. So 99239 is wrong. Eliminate option A. Coming to option B, 99233, that is for subsequent hospital inpatient or observation care per day, 50 minutes must be met or exceeded. But in the scenario, they have not mentioned subsequent hospital inpatient or observation care, right? In the scenario, the patient was admitted few days ago with acute appendicitis and she has been recovering from surgery. Then the physician discharges her. So we cannot code for subsequent hospital inpatient or observation care. So eliminate option B. Coming to option C, 99234, that is for hospital inpatient or observation care for the E&M of a patient including admission and discharge on the same date. But in the scenario, the patient was admitted a few days ago and the physician is discharging her. So it is not a same day discharge service, right? So we cannot code 99234. Eliminate option C. We are left with option D, 99238, which is the right answer. Check the code. 99238 is for hospital inpatient or observation discharge day management, 30 minutes or less on the date of encounter. So here the time is 20 minutes and it is also a different day discharge. So 99238 is the right code. I hope you are clear with it. The right answer is option D. Next question. Read the question. If an ambulance service is providing an ambulance ride from a skilled nursing facility to a doctor's office, what is an appropriate modifier? Option A EP, option B P, and option C NP, option D IP. The right answer is option C NP. The ambulance service codes are found in HCPCS Level 2 manual under Transportation Services. The beginning of that section outlines the requirement to add a modifier to each service code describing the pickup and destination of the service. In this case, the patient was picked up at the skilled nursing facility, that is N, right? And the destination was a doctor's office, that is P. Therefore, we are using the modifier NP. In option A, EP describes picking up at a residential or custodial facility and destination is doctor's office. And option B, PN is pick up at doctor's office and destination is skilled nursing facility. And in option D, IP describes site of transfer as in from the airport or helicopter to an ambulance and then to the doctor's office. So in this case, the right answer is option C. Let us move on to the next question. This question is from HCPCS Level 2. Read the question. A Medicaid patient receives a half-hour session of sign language services twice a week. How would each session be billed? Check option A T1013, that is for sign language or oral interpretive services per 15 minutes. And check option B T1018, that is for school-based individualized education program services bundled. Check option C T1014, that is for telehealth transmission per minute professional services billed separately. And option D T1013, that is sign language or oral interpretive service per 15 minutes. They have multiplied 4 times in option D. So which among these is the right answer? If you choose option A, then you are absolutely right. The code T1013 is for sign language oral interpretive services per 15 minutes. In the question, they have mentioned half an hour session. So we are multiplying it twice. In option D, they have mentioned T1013 multiplied 4 times, but multiplying it 4 times for a session is not required because they have mentioned half an hour session, right? So eliminate option D, and the code in option C T1014 is for telehealth transmission. This is not mentioned in the question, so it is wrong. Eliminate option C. And in option B, T1018 is for school-based individualized education. This is also not mentioned in the question, so option B is wrong. The right answer is option A. Next question. I highly encourage you to like the video and also share it with those who are preparing for the CPC exam, and also don't forget to show your support to my channel by subscribing to Codement Mastery for further updates. Read the question. When coding in ICD 10, what is the difference between excludes 1 and excludes 2? Read the options. You'll find the answer for this in your ICD manual. Section 1, Conventions, General Coding Guidelines and Chapter Specific Guidelines. Under that, you can find the 12th guideline, Excludes Notes. In that, you can see an exclude 1 note indicates that code excluded should never be used at the same time as the code above the exclude 1 note. And the definition for excludes 2 states that condition excluded is not part of the condition represented by the code, but a patient may have both conditions at the same time. So, it is matching with the option B. That is, exclude 1 means the code listed can never be used with the code above the exclude note, and excludes 2 means the code is not a part of the condition represented by the code listed above the note, but the patient may have both conditions at the same time. So, option B is the right answer. I hope you're clear with it. Next question. Read the question. A patient is found to have a subcutaneous dermoid cyst on the tip of his nose. His physician removes it with no difficulty in office. How is this coded? Check option A 30117. Excision or destruction example laser, intranasal lesion, internal approach. Check option B 30110 excision nasal polyp simple. Option C 30125 is for excision dermoid cyst nose complex under bone or cartilage. Option D 30124 is for excision dermoid cyst nose simple skin subcutaneous. So which among these is the right answer? The right answer is option D 30124. Why? Because the code 30124 refers to excision of dermoid cyst. In the scenario, they have mentioned dermoid cyst and the physician removes it. So, it is excision of dermoid cyst and it is a simple procedure because it is on the tip of his nose and the physician removes it with no difficulty. Option C 30125 is wrong because that is for excision of complex dermoid cyst. Option B 30110 is wrong because that is for excision of a nasal polyp simple. And option A 30117 is also wrong because that is for excision destruction of an intranasal lesion internal approach. This question does not mention anything about intranasal lesion, right? So they have exactly mentioned dermoid cyst. So the right code is 30124. Let us move on to the next question. The trick to solve questions faster in your exam is that first you have to look at the options and later read the procedure and highlight the main terms. You will reach the right answer without wasting much time. Read the question. How many total pairs of nerves are in the spinal cord? Option A 20, option B 31, option C 12, option D 8. So the right answer is option B 31. How it is 31? The spinal cord nerves are broken down as follows, that is 8 pairs of cervical nerves, 12 pairs of thoracic nerves, 5 pairs of lumbar nerves, 5 pairs of sacral nerves and 1 pair of coccygeal nerves. So the right answer is option B 31. Next question, read the question. An ABN form or advanced beneficiary notice needs to be signed by patients who have what kind of insurance and when must medical staff have it signed? Check option A, commercial managed care, that is after the services have been rendered but before the claim has been sent out to insurance. Option B, Medicare, before any service or procedure is performed. Option C, state Medicaid, after the claim has been denied payment. Option D, Medicare, after the claim has been denied and appealed at the highest level. So this is an important question from compliance and regulatory section. So the right answer is option B. That is, advance beneficiary notice needs to be signed by patients who are under Medicare and it should be signed before any service or procedure is performed. Next question. This is a quite lengthy question. So first let us look at the options. Check option A 90901 is for biofeedback training by any modality. Option B 97161 is for physical therapy evaluation low complexity. Option C 97162 is for physical therapy evaluation moderate complexity and option D 97164 is for re-evaluation of physical therapy established plan of care. So we looked at the 4 options. Now let us check the main terms in the question. So here the patient who is recovering from knee surgery sees a physical therapist for re-evaluation of her condition. After receiving consistent therapy sessions over the past month, during this session, she explains to her therapist where the knee was operated feels fine, but the back of the same knee feels strained. After a quick look at what is bothering her, the PT, that is physical therapist, re-establishes a plan of care that focuses on the strained tendons in the back of the patient's knee. So, which among these is the appropriate code? The appropriate code is 97164. That is for re-evaluation of her condition and also the physical therapist re-establishes a plan of care. So 97164 is the right code. Option A 90901 is wrong because that is for biofeedback training. So in the question they have not mentioned biofeedback training. So option A is wrong and option B 97161 is for physical therapy evaluation low complexity. But in the question they have mentioned re-evaluation. So this is not the correct answer. We'll eliminate option B. Coming to option C, 97162, that is for physical therapy evaluation, moderate complexity. But in the question they have mentioned re-evaluation. So we have to code appropriately for re-evaluation only. We cannot code 97162. So eliminate option C also. Read the question. A patient suffers from a complex intracranial aneurysm close to the carotid artery. In order to correct this quickly, the surgeon performs the surgery using intracranial approach. This is successful and the patient is wheeled to recovery. Let us try to code it. Check option A, 61703. 61703 is for surgery of intracranial aneurysm, cervical approach by application of occluding clamp to cervical carotid artery. Check option B, 61700, that is for surgery of simple intracranial aneurysm, intracranial approach, carotid circulation. Check option C, 61698, that is for surgery of complex intracranial aneurysm, intracranial approach, vertebrobasilar circulation. And option D, 61697 is for surgery of complex intracranial aneurysm, intracranial approach, carotid circulation. In the scenario, the patient suffers from intracranial aneurysm close to the carotid artery. So the surgeon performs surgery using intracranial approach. Okay, so which among these is the right code? The right answer is option D, 61697, because that is for surgery of a complex intracranial aneurysm. In the scenario, you can see there is complex intracranial aneurysm by intracranial approach and it is close to the carotid artery. So option D is the right answer. The code 61698 in option C is wrong because that is for vertebrobasilar circulation. So that is not what the patient suffered from, right? In the scenario they have mentioned aneurysm close to the carotid artery. So we cannot code 61698. So eliminate option C. Coming to option B, 61700, that is for simple intracranial aneurysm, but we have to code for complex according to the scenario. So option B is also wrong and option A, 61703, is for surgery of intracranial aneurysm, but it is for cervical approach. That will be around the neck. So that is not matching the scenario. So eliminate option A. Option D is the right answer. So that's it for today. In the next video, we'll study guidelines related to pathology and laboratory series. So stay tuned.